Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? Amongst the first to receive it. Now with no further ado, let's get into this evening's video, if you will. As you can see, I got my Halloween costume on. You know what I mean? It's Tuesday night, 9:34 p.m. and I'm in the Halloween spirit. I was off today, went out trick-or-treating with my goddaughter, and I just figured that I'd bring you all a little joy and a little humor. You know what I mean? I don't think I can do this entire video with this mask on because it's hot as hell. So, give me a couple seconds and we'll get into this evening's video. Okay, Real Kens in the real form. We back. You know what I mean? It was a little bit too hot, man. I couldn't do a whole video. Let me get into character. I gotta put my my shades on, my you digs. That's a new, sometimes I say things and people don't understand exactly what I say, so they end up going to the Urban Dictionary. So when you hear me say, let me put my you digs on, you digs can represent a whole lot of things, but this particular case, let me put my you digs on, I'm referring to my my glasses, my sunglasses. So when you look up my you digs, it's not gonna say sunglasses. I don't know what it would actually say, but nevertheless, what's up, my YouTube family? It's been a few days since I actually, I believe I posted something, but it's been let me see, what's today, Tuesday? I think I made a video Sunday, but at any rate, no better place I'd rather be than with my YouTube family. Sorry for the long intro and delay. I want you all to know there is a message this evening. And that mask actually is relevant to the message that I'm actually gonna, give you all, if you will. I'm locked up. I want to say, I don't remember the year, but it was several years ago. And I was in a county jail. But in the state of Kentucky, as I mentioned previously, you don't always go to prison. Yes, I've been to prison several times. I'm not bragging on it because there's nothing to brag about. But I've been to prison several times, for you all that haven't, heard my story before. But sometimes they don't always send you to prison. Sometimes they have facilities that are called Class D programs, which means instead of sending you to prison because the prisons are so, packed, filled, they'll make you do your time in the county jail. And they'll say, okay, it's a state facility. So they'll offer a couple jobs outside of the facility where you're monitored with a correction officer, and you make $12.65 a month. And that's basically what it is. So I was at a Class D facility. And it was a tough one too. It was in Beattyville, Kentucky. Everything I say, I'm telling the truth 100%. It was called Three Forks Regional Jail. Beattyville, Kentucky. Look it up if you don't believe me, or if you're just curious. So I'm in Three Forks Regional Jail, and it was a dude, and I knew right off top when I walked in, because when you first walk into a cell, you kind of you're checking your surroundings. You're looking to see who's who. You're able to kind of navigate You know, as far as, okay, this person is this person is that, this person is, like, you can actually tell. I could anyway, because I had already been locked up before. So it was a dude, and I don't want to say his name. You know, I typically try not to say a person's name. He was from Cincinnati. I will say that. Shout out to Cincinnati. You know what I mean? Stand-up dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? Stand-up dudes, especially them Cincinnati white boys. In the penitentiary, Cincinnati white boys, man, they definitely, you know, they represent, man, and they not to be taken lightly. But we'll call dude, I don't know what's a good nickname for him. We'll call him Goldie. And I say Goldie because he had all goals in the top, all goals on the bottom. Goldie was probably about 5'11", 6 foot, 225, 230. He was a nice size, you know. He had size on him. He wasn't cut, but he wasn't sloppy with it. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, he had form to him. He was a nice sized dude. You can tell that he's probably been locked up before, did a whole lot of weightlifting or push-ups, one of the two. But Goldie, I guess he felt like he ran the pod. Now, for you all that don't know what running the pod means, it means that somebody, sometimes they call it the pod father, somebody that kind of just dictates what goes on in the pod. Now, I noticed this about Goldie, you know, when I initially walked in. You know, nobody ever really questioned him. Nobody really challenged him. And it was just one of those things. I'm like, okay, that's the dude right there, you know. So I'm probably there at this point, maybe 3 weeks. Me and Goldie, we haven't said much to each other. To be honest, we had words at one point because I was laying in my rack, which is my bed. I had a top rack, and the dude below him was from Cincinnati too. Well, the dude below me, pause. But he was in the lower rack, you know. So Goldie was there talking to him, you know, and they was chopping it up or whatever. And Goldie was like, yeah, man, I don't understand these Kentucky dudes, man. These Kentucky dudes be acting like women, man, acting like, you know, finicky. Now, mind you, we're in the state of Kentucky. He's from Ohio. The majority, if not everybody in there, is from Kentucky. But Goldie felt like he was a bully. You see what I'm saying? Goldie felt like he could just say whatever he wanted to say. So I feel like, at first, I kind of ignored it. Because I'm like, man, I ain't paying no attention to dude. But then he said it again. So it made me feel like, oh, you talking to me. So I addressed the situation, you know, verbally. I'm like, okay, well, if Kentucky dudes ain't nothing, why you keep getting caught up over in Kentucky? The bridge, you just right over the bridge. I just came over here to hit a lick because it was so easy and y'all so easy to make money off of. Okay, well, if we so easy to make money off of and we so slow in Kentucky, why are you coming over here getting caught up? It seemed like you'd be, you know, 2 or 3 steps ahead of the game and you wouldn't get caught up. So, you know, nothing happened, but, you know, he kind of looked at me sideways a little bit after that, and then, you know, I just stayed ready, which I'm sure that he did just as well. So I'm not on here to try to make it seem like, Goldie wasn't that guy, or he wasn't, you know, but I had to stand up. Plus, I was a lot younger then, you know, so, you know, I just had to let it be known, man, you ain't gonna just sit up here and just keep disrespecting, not to my face, because if I didn't say nothing, you gonna continue to do it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happened in that particular scenario. But like I said, nothing ever happened between me and dude after that. One day we out on the yard. I don't even want to call it a yard. It's disrespectful for me to say it's a yard. It's I don't know. We was actually able to go out for recreation. It's a very enclosed space. You know, they got like a basketball goal with no ball that we can shoot with. They got like a couple weight machines. It's a very small area that, you know, the inmates can go out and kind of get some exercise and get some fresh air. We're supposed to get recreation 3 times a week. We would rarely get it at Three Forks Regional Jail at this particular time. So they gave us recreation, and there was a dude, we're going to call him Jimmy, Little Jimmy. Actually, I don't even remember his name, so we're going to call him Little Jimmy. White dude. Cool, man. About 5'6", probably weighed about 140, 145. He was a young dude, but he looked old. His hairline was kind of receding, so, you know, he wanted to hang on to the hair around the sides, you know what I mean? But his hair was kind of like bald up top. Hey, and if you watching this, don't be offended, because I have no problem with that. You know, sometimes, man, we just lose our hair. Young age, you know what I mean? But Jimmy didn't bother nobody. Jimmy was cool. And the police came outside. And when I say the police, I'm referring to the correction officers. And I think they were doing like random shakedowns that day. So they was trying to shake Jimmy down. Jimmy takes the bag. He got a bag on him. That's how he makes his money. He's selling weed. He takes the weed and the cigarettes, tosses it like behind the trash can. So when he tosses it behind the trash can, he was able to get it off of him, so that if they did come and shake him down, pat him down, that's what a shakedown means. Just, you know, put your hands up, put your hands to the side. They pat you down, make sure you don't have anything on you. And he was able to do so. When he did it, Goldie peeped the situation. He seen what was going on. So he snatches the bag up. When he snatches the bag up, Jimmy sees him take the bag, but Jimmy's getting shook down at the time. So after rec was over with, because you don't get that long for rec. After rec was over with, we go back inside the dorm. Now, mind you, the dorm that we're in, it's equipped to hold probably 10 people, and it's going to be very, very tight with 10 people. It was probably at the time maybe 18, 20 people in there. One TV, one microwave, one toilet, one shower. 20 people. That's meant to hold maybe 10 people. Tension's already high in there anyway. Now, people may say, oh, well, you just in the county. In my humble opinion, the county's way worse than penitentiary. It's more violence. I've seen more fights. I've seen more people get their noodle pushed all the way backwards, a.k.a. wig split. For the people that don't know what get your noodle pushed all the way backwards, because when you're in the county jail, there's no fresh air. A lot of times, like I mentioned, they don't allow you to have rec. You know, it's 20 people in there and there's 2 phones, maybe 3. Half the time, one of the phones are going to, you know, it's not going to work because dudes get mad because they calling, they can't reach their girl, and they banging the phone up against the wall, and they mad and upset, so the phones don't work half the time. And it's just a very, very stressful environment. You can't go anywhere. You waiting to get shipped off to the penitentiary. You might be in there 4, 5, 6 months, and you can't really get any answers. It's loud at night. Dudes are slamming the dominoes on the metal tables. I mean, it's just the TV's blasting. You got the young dudes. We just gonna put it that way. They want to listen to hip hop. Then you got the country dudes. They want to listen to country music. It's just a constant battle over the television. Who's next in the shower? I mean, it's just so, it's crazy. It's very, very crazy in the county jail, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're going through that situation, and they get back in the dorm. Jimmy's like, hey, yo, Goldie, can I get my bag? Goldie's like, what bag? Jimmy's like, the bag you picked up that I tossed, you know, behind the trash can when the COs came out, shook us down. Goldie was like, man, that's my bag. Jimmy's like, man, what do you mean it's my bag? It's my bag. Goldie was like, listen, man, them people was getting ready to shake you down. If they had caught that on you, you'd be in the hole probably with a new charge. Jimmy's like, yeah, but Goldie, I tossed it to the side. They wasn't going to find it on me. They wasn't going to find the bag, period. Goldie felt like they could have found it on the ground or anything. Then we all would have been in trouble. So I saved the day. Jimmy, being the cool dude that he was like, you know what, Goldie? You right. Well, I tell you what. Let's work this out, brother. You take half of what's in there, and I take half. After all, Goldie knew that he could, Jimmy rather, knew that he could get some more. Goldie wasn't from there. He wasn't from that area. So he probably couldn't get more. Goldie wasn't trying to hear that. Goldie said, no, I'm taking the whole thing. You got a problem? That's just kind of how it, they went back and forth with it. Kind of died down for that night. Goldie really felt like he was a hell of a guy. But he'd soon find out that he really wasn't. Not to get too far ahead of the story, the next day, Jimmy tried to reason with Goldie again. Listen, bro, can I get some of it? You can keep the majority of it. Just let me get something so I can, sell it, get my hygiene, whatever that he was going to use the money for. Goldie told him, man, if you don't get out of my face, I'm going to knock you out, man. I done already told you, and I'm not going to tell you again. It's my bike, punk. Y'all remember that? We all seen Friday. So it wasn't Debo, but he had a Debo mentality. Jimmy didn't like it. So he said a couple things. Goldie said a couple things. And I never will forget, Jimmy was sleeping on the floor. Remember, I said it's 20 people in the dorm, 18 to 20 people in the dorm. The dorm's only suited for 10 people, so it's 10 beds. You got 8 people sleeping on the floor. Goldie's sitting on the floor. He has a mat, and he's sitting on the floor with his back up against the wall. Goldie comes over and stands over top of Jimmy. He was like, say another word. What you say? Say another word. Well, what could Goldie, or rather Jimmy, what could he do? You got this big dude standing over top of you. Like I said, about 5'11", 225, 230, somewhere right around in that range. Jimmy's 5'6", 140, maybe. So he's looking up literally at Goldie as Goldie looks down on Jimmy. Next thing you know, Jimmy wasn't even talking crazy. He was just like, all right, brother. He was like, what you calling me? He was like, all right, brother, man. Man, next thing I know, Goldie slaps the fire out of Jimmy. Bow! Now say something smart again. Slapped him again. Bow! Notice how my head, bow! That's how he was slapping him. He slapped him about 3 times. A couple dudes like, come on, Goldie, man. Stall him out, Debo. That's kind of how it was, though. So, Goldie, he leaves Jimmy alone. Jimmy's just sitting there looking silly, man. I'm not even going to say he was looking silly. Just looking like, just, man. So I don't even want to say he was looking silly. Goldie, to me, was looking silly. Why you doing this to this man? He wasn't even talking crazy to you. You done already trucked his weed. Once again, for you all that don't know, truck means, when you locked up. I trucked him. I took it. And what's he going to do about it? So he already trucked his weed and his cigarettes. And then you go and humiliate the man and slap him? Once again, it died down. Nobody really respected Goldie. We already knew he was a bully. Nobody respected him for that. I already had it made up in my mind. If he say anything to me ever again, man, we going in. We're going in. Going in means, we going to get it in, man. We're going to go to the bathroom. We're going to get it in the bathroom. We're going to get it in right here. And we probably going to end up going to the hole after it's all said and done. So we going in. Because I felt like he had already thrown a couple shots my way. And I felt the need to show him, since you think Kentucky dudes is so soft, I beg to differ, if you will. But a couple days passed by. Nothing was said about the situation. Goldie had this certain type of walk to where he kind of walked on his tiptoes. So he was already a big dude, but he just had a cocky walk. As though I run this dorm. I run. But he didn't really say much. He wasn't really, but he just had that demeanor about him. He felt like, and a lot of people feel this way. So no disrespect to Ohio, Cincinnati, in no form or fashion. A lot of people feel like where they from is top of the line, echelon. As though there's not rough neighborhoods or rough hoods in other cities and states. You see what I'm saying? 3 days later, roughly 3 days. It was a long time ago. And when I say a long time ago, I'm talking like 2008. So what are we talking, 15 years? So Goldie's on the phone. He's talking to his girl. Everything. You can always tell when a dude's on the phone because the dudes be on the phone smiling. Like, you can't hear him, but you just see this. That's what you see when a dude's on the phone. Dudes talk real low, so you can't really hear their phone conversation. Understandably. Jimmy's at the microwave. Nobody knew anything. Nobody thought anything of it. Jimmy's at the microwave. Because, in jail, they have commissary. They have noodles and things of that nature. So you go to the microwave, you boil your water for your noodles. Jimmy has a bowl in the microwave that's been boiling for about 10 minutes. Nobody thought anything of it. Jimmy never said a word to anybody. And if he did, it didn't get out because nobody knew. Jimmy has a bowl boiling, nice sized bowl in the microwave. And after 10 minutes, he goes and gets the bowl out. Goldie's on the phone, as I previously mentioned. His back, the way that the dorm is shaped, his back is kind of towards the microwave. It didn't necessarily have to be, but you got to realize if you've ever been in jail, those jail phones, the cords are very, very short. So you can only maneuver so much. So Goldie's looking out towards the door, if you will. Now, when I say the door, it's the door where you enter and leave out of. There's a guard tower in the middle of the dorm. It's probably 6 different, there's a dorm. And when I say dorm, there's 6 individual units, pods, that's what you call them in jail, pods, that are surrounding the guards towers. So you got 20 men in here, 20 men in here, 20 men in here, 20 men in here. So it's a circle, 6 different pods. The guards tower's in the middle, and everything's glass. They can see in the dorm, and we can see inside the guards tower. Well, actually, they have the tent up inside the guards tower, so you really can't too much see them. You can see like a silhouette or something like that. You can tell someone's inside the guard tower, but when they look out, they can see everything that's going around in that dorm, in each pod. Jimmy humbly grabs his bowl out of the microwave. Nice size bowl. He walks. Nobody still thought anything of it. This happened, 3 or 4 days ago. Jimmy walks up to the phone. And when he got to the phone, whoosh, he throws that entire bowl of hot, scalding water on Goldie. Now, he didn't throw it in his face. Actually, Jimmy spared Goldie. But he threw it on the back of his neck and the back of his head. Goldie had a bald head. He typically wore a toboggan, but this day, he didn't have his toboggan on. I believe he had just shaved his head, so it was fresh, and he didn't have his toboggan on. So he had a fresh bald head. Jimmy throws the water. Whoosh! I'll never forget the sound that I heard. Ah! Just heard screaming like a scary movie or something. Jason or somebody's after you. Jimmy reached in his back pocket, pulled out a sock. You could clearly tell that it had a lock in it. Combination lock. He put it in a sock. Went to town on Goldie's head. Bow! Bow! Motherfucker! Bow! He's hitting motherfucker! Whoosh! He's hitting the hell out of Goldie. I'm talking about, man, and he's hitting him like he's connected. Goldie really hadn't had an opportunity to turn around because from having scalding hot water thrown on him, he's reacting to that. Now you getting hit with a lock in a sock. I've never been hit with a lock in a sock because I ain't bothered people when I was locked up to be hit with a lock in a sock. But I would imagine a lock in a sock would not feel good under any circumstances or stretch of the imagination, if you will. I know he hit that boy about a solid 15 times. Now it got to the point to where Goldie was trying to, cover up. But he was still connected. Top of the head, side of the neck, side of the face. As I mentioned, we was in a pod to where the COs, they could see everything that was going on. They run inside. The CO runs inside, but when he comes inside, he doesn't immediately break it up. We're in a small country town. Not a lot of black folks in them parts. Obviously, Jimmy was a white dude. As I mentioned, Goldie was a black dude. They knew Goldie was a bully. Kind of let it go for a little bit. He calls backup. Backup comes in. They separate them. Now, typically when a fight or something like that happens, when them COs come in, they come in and they're going to spray you. They walk around with mace cans on their hip, size of fire extinguishers. They're going to spray you, even if the fight's over, just to, for kicks. Because, they really act like they real police, but they couldn't be police, so they're correction officers in most cases. Not everybody. No disrespect to the cool correction officers. I know some of y'all watch my channel. Shouts out to you. But for the ones that are jerks, they live to spray people, mace people. So finally backup comes, and of course anything that happens, they pulled Jimmy out of there, and they pulled Goldie out of there. Never seen Goldie again. I never seen neither one of them after that. But I tell you what, if Goldie didn't learn his lesson that day about being a bully, because he always talk about he got shot and he didn't like bullies and, he would never shoot anybody because it was the worst pain in the world and, he didn't wish that upon anybody, but he was definitely a bully. Jimmy wasn't having it. And I guarantee you, like I said, we was in a small town. I guarantee you Jimmy didn't get prosecuted for that. Probably just sent him to the hole for a little bit. Then, send him on up the way to the penitentiary, to the real life penitentiary. So as I mentioned, there is a message. And the message is, don't judge a book by its cover. I know we've all heard it 1,000,001 times, but sometimes we continuously do that. Nobody thought little Jimmy was going to bust Goldie's ass. Pause. But that day, Jimmy wasn't having it. He tried to let it go. He tried to let it go a couple times, but Goldie just felt like, now I'm going to just, I'm going to patronize you right here. Ain't even no need for that, bro. Bro, who you calling bro? Slap, pow, pow, pow. Like on Batman. Every time he slapped him, pow, bing, pow, bing. Okay. No problem. You win it. Wonder what happened to Goldie. I really do. He probably did. I don't wish death upon anybody, but if If you went back out to the streets with that mentality, you dead, or you doing a lengthy prison sentence in Ohio, maybe in Kentucky. But you talk about Kentucky was soft and they was weak and they was slow. But you keep catching time in Kentucky. Goldie got his mind right that day. No. Let me rewind that. I don't edit for you all that haven't previously watched my videos. So we're gonna do this. I will edit one day, but at this point I don't edit. That's my manual rewind. Little Jimmy got Goldie's mind right that day. Are you gonna learn? You gonna learn today, and he learned. Big old bucket of, it wasn't a bucket. I don't want to exaggerate. Don't let me go through my Fleece Johnson. I love you, Fleece, but I'm not going to sit here and exaggerate. Shout out to Fleece Johnson, 502 Hustler Spirit. Hustler Spirit 502, Louisville, Kentucky. Big Lee, Fleece Johnson, go check them out. Prison stories, real live prison stories. I've been to prison, but Fleece been to prison. So you got prison. Eddyville, maximum security, state of Kentucky. You know what I mean? But got his mind right that day. And hopefully Goldie learned something from that. You can't just go around here taking from people. You can't just think that, okay, you got the upper hand, you can beat somebody up, or you feel like, he ain't gonna do nothing. Man, you don't know what's in a person's mind. You're in jail for a reason. I don't mean you in jail for anything violent, but I'm just saying you obviously wasn't abiding by all the laws, all the rules. So guess what? Ain't no rules in there. I don't blame little Jimmy. I did the same thing. I threw it in his face. No. That was the old me. Now I wouldn't have thrown it in his face. But I'm just simply, it's 15 years ago me, and then it's the real Ken's me now. But back then, sad. It's the type of stuff that goes down in jail, man. So that's why I implore all the young people, man, don't go to jail. Stay out here, man. I just got done trick or treat with my goddaughter, man. It's 20 months. I'm in jail. What could I do? Trick or treat, baby. Send me some pictures. Let me know No, be out here with your kids, with your relatives, with your family, your loved ones, your friends, your real friends. Be out here. My YouTube family, man. I'm out here with my YouTube family. I appreciate every last one of you all. Shout out to Jay Williams once again. I'm always, why you keep shouting out Jay Williams? Because that's what I do. That's my guy, man. You ever met Jay Williams? No. Shout out to Jay Williams. Let's live life. If you all, live under a rock and you're not familiar, go check his channel out. Let's live life. Jay Williams. The realest YouTuber. Pause, though. On YouTube. Now, when I say the realest YouTuber, meaning, he tells prison stories, but he doesn't always tell prison stories. He tells, I like Jay Williams for the simple fact that he lets you into his world. So, yeah, he'll tell you some prison stories, some things that have happened in prison, but at the same time, he's going to let you know, okay, my kids, this is what went on in my life this particular time, my construction business. A couple people was doing this. I had to let them go. He's bringing you real life scenarios, and that's what makes him so real. He's not on here trying to portray a certain image, man. The man has shouted me out a couple times, and I ain't never met him a day in my life nor talked to him. So shout out once again, Jay Williams. Let's live life. If you like just real, I ain't even gonna say prison content. If you just like real, that man's gonna get to 1 million. He's gonna get to 1 million. He's 300-some-thousand now, and he had a whole business he was tending to. Once he actually focuses and puts his time and effort into this real, it's YouTube, He gonna hit 1 million. Shout out. But hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel, channel. You know what I mean? And hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, this heat, you'll actually be amongst the first to receive. I love you all, YouTube. Keep supporting my channel. And I say that humbly, respectfully. And, we're going to see where this thing leads us to, We're going to see where it goes. We never know. I just hit 2,000 subs. Shout out to my dog, Jason. My dog, Jason, I can't remember the whole channel name, but you know who you are. You watch my video. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Lonnie. Shout out to, here come my mother-in-law. Nah, I'm just playing. She cool. Shout out to Christopher. And this is just off the top of my head. Just people, Too Mean Irene. And a lot of these people, not everybody, but they have their own YouTube channels as well. So you all go support Lonnie. Wow, I can't believe that I can't remember every single person, because so many people support me and they send me messages and comments. Just shout out to everybody. Of course, Jay Williams, just shout out, man. All the people that support Real Kens TV 859. I love you. And, like I said, we're gonna see where it goes. You see what I'm saying? Nate, my dog Nate. Hey, Nate's my dog, man. Out of Indiana. Y'all go check out, I posted him before, but I don't have his channel information like right here in front of me. But if you see the video, you know that I'm shouting you out. Just shout out to everybody. Everybody.